All right. Again, thank you everybody for being here last night. I appreciate it. I really do. All right, let's take a look at some charts. Rig might be setting up, and I had a couple comments from last night sent to me. I noticed after the webinar, and it was involving something like this right here. So if I look at rig, this is my trade. That's it. Nothing more than that right there. And their question was about that. Well, what about going higher? And, when I look at something like this and I say, okay, that's my trade, I'm not saying it can't go higher. And I'm not saying that we can trade it higher. But when I do a trade, it's all about those blocks, those swings. So that's the swing. Over the 50 period moving average, it would be a different swing. So I want to try to clear that up a little bit. It's not like, it's not like I think rig is done right here. This is just the trade I'm setting up for a short-term swing. So ideally, 5 days. I mean, would be ideal, I think. That would be 3 to 5 days. I mean, I think I would like it so that, rig supplies us with an entry. You buy rig, it moves up. Oh, hell, let's just move right up, right? Okay, that would be perfect. That would be a perfect trade for me. Now, we know in there that we're going to have maybe a little bit of a pullback before it starts back up. And that's, if it starts back up. So, like I said, that's my job right now. Think of it like construction workers might pick up on this. I come from a long line of auto mechanics. That's what I did for years. That's my thing. If I had to, it'd be tough nowadays on some of these cars, but if I had to, I could roll my toolbox out. I'm a mechanic. I'm a wrench. So for those that are wrenches and you work commission, you get this. If a customer comes into a garage, brings their car in, and says that their alternator is bad, and you replace the alternator, well, you get paid commission to change that alternator. That's it. It's done after that. When you're done, you're done. But then what happens is the next customer comes in, and maybe they need their oil changed. That's a separate job. So like construction workers, maybe your job is framing, and maybe you don't do sheetrock. So when your framing job is done, it's done. Realtors, when you go to sell a house, this is the house you're selling. Now you may have 10 houses at a time for sale, but all of a sudden this one strikes hot. People put money on the table, it's ready to go. This is the one right here. When it's sold, it's done. Now you go to the next one. So to answer that question, even though this is my trade, it can go higher, but this is what I'm going to make a plan for to get that done right away. BBIG, for those that are as foolish as I am, for those that are interested at all in this, I know some people are not, and that's okay. I'm still holding mine. BBIG, we've got a pair of dojis here. Great candle yesterday. I think that's a good candle. And then today we're showing a little bit of interest here. We've got the 50 period moving average, the 17, the T-line, the 34, and who knows what else. This is just what I have right in here. Really tight, really kind of bunched up. Maybe something could happen. It is a rounded bottom breakout. Up to the 34, up to the trendicator. Try this. Third time's a charm. Let's make sure I get it right. Up to the dotted deuce here, or a $1.60, is 54% to the 200 is 105%. So what's my trade? Well, I've got to come over here and say, this top right here must mean something. I mean, it went up there and stopped. So what I'm going to look for is something like this right now. And it could very much and very easily go up here. But let's look at one little job at a time. So that's what I'm looking for now. Walmart. Yeah, I think this is still a play. I like Walmart. Maybe that's why I watch it so much. I just like Walmart. I live in the Walmart neighborhood. I'm 2 hours from their headquarters. I see a lot of what they do, and anyway, it's kind of cool. We've got a low, a high, a higher low. We're right up against that trend line. If we break out, we've got a pair of dojis here above the 50-period moving average, watching for that breakout. Now, I'm still holding some. If we break out, then the next target is simply going to be where it's been before. That's not a secret in trading, unless you want it to be. It can be if you want it to be, but that's not a secret. That's what charts do right there. So I'm still looking for Walmart to move up here. SSYS pinball setup. Well, is it? Let's see. It's close. Officially, is this on real time? Yeah. Officially, it is a pinball setup from the 10 T-line to the 34 EMA. Well, I take that back. Officially, it is not. It falls short just a few, 0.5%. So that's the official. If you're going to look at that 50-period moving average at target, it's well in that category of 18%. We've got a doji here, inverted hammer here, a low, a high, a higher low, starting to move up. This is one that I want to watch, negotiate an entry, and look for, wouldn't it be sweet, 18%? Even if it only produced half that, close to half, to that 34 EMA. That, what was that, 9.5% if bought, low enough? That's a pretty good trade for a stock trade. That is actually really good for a stock trader swing trading in this market. Bullish. That is really good. And for an option trader, that's, just from here to here puts you in a 20% range. Where are we? XOM. So we created this energy watch list yesterday, just for energy. We'll keep an eye on this today. I'm not sure if anything is going to show up today because everything has popped up. Now I did change this a tad, and I'll talk about that when the market opens a little bit. Ideally, what would happen is we actually slip a little bit. That's ideally what I would like. Slip a little bit today, and then what we would have is an inside day for a buy. Now, we're opening up on the inside day. If we pop up a little bit, and let's go ahead and move this up just a tad. If you buy the breakout of this candle, the fact that we're over the 50-period moving average, I think that gives it a little bit of a strength, a little bit of reason. The only downside is I think we're up a bit too much. That's why I would like to buy on that inside day a little bit cheaper. That would be nice. That would make me feel better, and it would also give me that argument of low to a high, to a higher low, to a higher high, to a higher low, buying in here, assuming it, the low is in here, and then we get that buy right in there. So that would make me feel a little bit better on this one. Where'd my list go? There it is. A VLO, another one, the exact same case. I would love for this to pull back a little bit. Just lighten up. And if I've got the scanner set up right, I'll have to check it this morning. If we're down below and then it starts moving up, it'll alert a new day high below the highest high in the past 5 days. That's the alert I'm using. I eliminated the 3/8 trap on this, and I'll explain why once the market opens up. We have time. FedEx is setting up. We've got that pinball set up. If we just using the traditional pinball setup, the 34 EMA, that's 7.25%. You know, this really is a cool chart pattern if you're using the T line, because or any moving average. You could use a 10 simple in here. I mean, you can use whatever you want in here. Okay, this is your guideline. Just stay on the right side of that guideline. Above that line right there, that black line, or whatever line you choose. It doesn't have to be the 8 exponential moving average. It just has to be so it's underneath those candles and maybe over those candles. You can use that, and then that is like a go, no-go type trade. It either stays above that T-line or it doesn't. Above that T-line can potentially produce about 17% of that 34 EMA. TSM, couple nice little candles down here. We've got a gap down, inverted hammer at the bottom is a candlestick that sniffs out bottoms. Doesn't mean that is the bottom. Inverted hammers try to sniff out the bottom. Now we've got the bulls coming in there kind of thinking, hey, what's going on? And then we've got that big gap up. We're over the T-line here. The 34 EMA is right there for that pinball. We don't want that. We want this. Pinball setup. So you've got about 8% there. The traditional, the official pinball, that's not really it. If you're looking at that 50-period moving average, that's 14%. And this is what I'm looking at now. I'm not looking at the original pinball setup. I'm looking at more like this. Because if the market does gain a little bit of traction, just a little bit, then things like this can happen. And if it comes up and fails near that 34, we will see that in the price action. So everything there is extremely transparent, very visible. Above 71.85 is bullish. Watch for any bearish candlesticks that you might need to use to get out of the trade if it turns ugly. Pins, P-I-N-S, off the 50-period moving average. We've got 4 candles, 5 candles giving us a bottom right there. Nice bullish engulf, a good little rest, and here it broke out of that bullish engulf. The 50-period moving average is still trending. Let's get this out of there. 50-period moving average is still trending, just like that. Now it's about following price. If you want to put another trend, and I do this all the time. I use moving averages, so I can see. See, there's the T-line right in there. There's the trend indicator. I do things like that right there. Just so, because I use those moving averages to guide me. So I don't really want to change midstream. So that's something I might do right there. Costco. Look at Costco here. Low, high, higher, low. Now, I don't particularly think it's a buy till it's over 490. But over 490, you've got a 6% move. That may not seem like a lot, but do the math on a $483 stock. That's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Microsoft. Look at Microsoft. This is one of the big hitters. I follow this a lot. I follow the big hitters a lot. May not talk about them a lot, but I have a scan where I'm just following the big hitters, because the big hitters is what really is going to make the difference in the market. We've gapped up. We're consolidating. The trend indicator's green. There's a chance this stays green. I can't predict what it's going to do, by the end of the day. But if that trend indicator stays green, all of a sudden, we just might have a trade here. Whoops, I didn't want that. I wanted this. Again, a $250 stock, 7.5%, 8%. That's not too shabby. And then there's Oracle here. Look at Oracle. I love that little bottom on Oracle. Very clean, very organized, very precise. Not jagged, not weird, just clean. Beautiful gap up. We seem to be holding right now. Wherever your stop might be, below yesterday's low might be a good place. If we're looking at the 34, there's an 8% move. I'm going to move it to the 50, kind of a modified pinball setup. That's what I'm looking for. And then in there, trade price. Trade price. Thomas, J&J. I'm still holding my J&J. It's still trending up. It's sloppy as all get out over that 50 period moving average. It might start to produce something. So I'm not sure if that's what you wanted to know, but there you go. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll be back here in about 19 minutes. Everybody take care. Bye.